So this you've already conveyed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next.
No, yeah. I will come to these Mother Teresa's pictures.
Okay.
Once I have just clarified a few points.
Sure, sir. Please carry on.
So, you know, I have photographed prime ministers. I have done 3 books on Indira Gandhi. I have photographed great people like Mother Teresa. I've done almost 4 books on her, on, you know, great filmmakers, artists, writers, photographers, painters, everybody. But Mother Teresa was a very important learning point for me. She was like a kind of a guru who silently taught me many things, you know. Now, you see, I met Mother Teresa way back in 1970 when she was hardly known. And one of our editors at The Statesman, Desmond Doig, a Britisher, he rang me up saying that, look, I have met a great lady and you have to come and photograph her. So I went to meet her and I couldn't believe that the kind of human being that she was, I mean, so intense, so compassionate and so caring. So I started my, and at that time, Mother Teresa was hardly known, you know. And so I started taking pictures. And then suddenly I disappeared from my chair to the floor. From there, I was looking at 2 sisters holding Bible and doing their prayer. And suddenly when Mother saw the man was missing, so she said, where the hell have you disappeared? So I came out and I said, oh, Mother, 2 sisters were praying, you know, in the balcony and they were looking like angels. So she said, all right. So this is how I started with her. And then I was photographing her for 4 or 5 days, first time when I met her. And those were the years in 70s and 80s, early 80s also, when she will look into every patient, every old man, every child personally and take care of them. And I mean, it was an amazing experience to see how she will connect with each one of them. So I was photographing her for 3 or 4 days, and then she tells me, Raghu Rai, you don't come tomorrow. I said, why not, Mother? She says, because tomorrow is my Easter day and I'm in prayers and I don't want any photographers to be walking around. So I was almost devastated. I said, oh my God, you know, how can I not be there when she's in prayers? So I said, Mother, but there are 2 things you say. One is that you do seva. You look after the poorest of the poor. And the second thing is to rejuvenate yourself. You connect with the Lord so that you can, you know, enhance and the strength of your work again for the next day. She said, yes. I said, Mother, I have been photographing you for 4 days, photographing you at children's home, at old people's home, with lepers, with everybody. And if I don't photograph you when you are in prayers, my story will be half done. So she says, all right, then you come tomorrow at 6 in the morning with one condition, that you will not move around, you will sit at one place and take pictures. So I said, yes, Mother. She says, is that a promise? I said, yes, Mother. So next day I go there and Mother, you know, I reach there and Mother says, oh, you come, let's go in. So she takes me into the chapel where more than 200 sisters were praying, big hall. And there's a statue of Christ on the other side. So the hall was full. Mother walks in and I walk behind him. She makes me sit right next to her on the right side. And she says, you sit here? I sit here. I said, yes, Mother. So gradually she folds her hand, goes into prayer. And then I am sitting on the side. I can barely see even her profile, you know, from the side. And now I'm struggling, what do I do? Because I have made a promise. So I am very uneasy. I'm waiting and eventually I get up, go right in front. I take my picture, this one, and I come back. And then after a while, mother, all the sisters were going and kissing the feet of the Christ, which was about 30 feet away from where we were sitting. Then mother gets up to do the same. Mother begins to walk. I begin to walk after her. And then I take the pictures. Mother comes out. I come out from the other door. I go to mother. I say, Mother, please forgive me. I couldn't keep my promise. So mother holds my hands and tells me. So this was the mother I had experienced. And mother had respect for other people's work also. But what I like to share with doctors and sisters, she used to say, we are not social workers looking after the poor. We are here for something totally different. So, mother, what is it? Which is totally different. She says, and this is something so unique and beautiful. I have never heard this one from anybody else. She says, when Christ was suffering, I was not there to nurse him. So anyone who's suffering in this world, and I come across that person, is my Christ. So I am nursing my Christ every time. Can you imagine the intensity, bhakti and seva that she had in compassion? So this is the kind of mother I had experienced. And then on other occasions, people said, look at the expression, warm expression she has for that child. And the mother of the child looks on. See the way she's carrying the baby, as if she's got the whole world in her arms. And see her hands melt around these children that she will pick up. See the concern in her eyes. And the man, this is an old people's home in Calcutta, and the man, the way he's looking at her, as if she's going to make all the difference to his life. This is again mother in prayer with the other sisters. See, body of Christ. So when somebody died, they will take the body there and give him his last bath and take them for burial or cremation or whatever. The concern that mother had for anybody and everybody. But what is very important about mother, that every time I met her, I had to, feel myself clean and focused, because mother will not look at you. She will look into you through your eyes. Like when somebody penetrates into you through your eyes, like senior people, like your parents, like your teacher who looks right into your eyes, into you, and you feel scared, you feel, my God, mother is seeing everything who you are. This is the feeling I used to have each time I met mother. So that concentrated, penetrating look mother had into you gave you the kind of alertness. I mean, I'll say those looks will restore you to yourself as a human being, which was something really, really unique. This is also old people's home. She would nurse, these old people personally, as long as she had the strength. This is in Assam when the Nellie massacre happened. So many parents were killed, and see how happily she's adopting that child, the way she's clinging to this child. This is in prayers again at the old people's home. This is, one guy who always wanted some money from mother. So he kept telling her something in Bengali. I was sitting with her, I took the picture. Mother didn't say anything and told the driver, let's go. I said, Mother, you didn't speak to him at all. She says, this man comes, he takes money from me and goes and drinks, takes booze all the time. So now I have stopped listening to his stories. So mother was in those situations will take care of such accounts also. This is saying bye-bye to the sisters in Assam. This is also old people's home. You look at her expression and her concern everywhere. That little lady was so amazing. This is, when she was going to get her sainthood, so sister sent me a letter that would you like to go to Vatican? I said, yes, I like to go. So before I went to Vatican, I went to Mother Teresa's home. And wherever I went, I found Mother's presence through statues, through images, through works they were doing. And it was so intense that Mother had come alive for me all over again. This is volunteers coming and working there. Look at the presence of Mother Mary and Mother Teresa everywhere. So this is what I had experienced now. Mother also was something so unique that I remember one day in old people's home, she was nursing some old people. And one sister came and she said, one Swiss banker has come and he wants to meet you. So mother said, let me finish, I'll come. So after finishing, she goes, this Swiss banker, very rich looking man, told mother that, he was from Switzerland and he has a lot of funds and situations that he would like to invest. But the underlying idea was that of a rich man who wants to throw some money at us also. So she listened to him very carefully. And then she tells him, sir, my people in my own country give me enough money for my poor. Why don't you start a home in your own country for old people to look after them? And she thanked him and sent him back. And another account, because some people blame her that she was converting people. Then one day we came back and mother, one of the sisters came to mother saying that, mother, there's a Brahmin woman dying in the street. And we went to pick her up. She said, you can't touch me unless you are a Brahmin. And she's in bad shape. So mother says, okay, let's go. So mother goes there and she says, come, we'll take you home. We'll look after you. So same question, are you a Christian? Are you a Brahmin? So mother says, I thought to myself, who's a good Brahmin? And the answer was that someone who looks after his people is a good Brahmin. So I said, yes, I am a Brahmin and we will look after you. So he brought her home. This is the kind of mother I have experienced in so many situations. Now I'll show you some of my creative moments. I started with mother because we're all doctors and nurses. And the feeling that she says, money can look after people, you can open homes, you can open nursing homes, everything. But the feeling of being cared and loved while you are there is more important than just the treatment and the food you get. So that's why I wanted to share this. Now, coming back to my personal creative work. This is one of my early photographs. When I said, that we have to connect our eyes to our heart and not to our mind, because heart has emotions, heart has feelings, and your soul is pure and clean. So what you receive and perceive through your heart, through your feelings, will be something original. So I saw these birds picking food grains, and I focused my camera and I didn't take a picture because this black bird wasn't there, just the sparrows were there. And it was a flat pattern of sparrows. And I waited. I said, no, it's not good enough for me. And then suddenly, in few seconds, the blackbird lands there. I take this picture and the bird disappears. Just one click. As if nature had designed it for me. That, okay, since you've been waiting, here you get something different. When I was doing my first book on Delhi, this is one of my photographs taken in mid-60s, 1960s. And when I was doing my first book on Delhi, I was editing, looking into my archives, what all I have. And I saw this picture, I said, oh my God, this is an India, could be 150 years old or 200 years old. Because behind Humayun's tomb, there were wheat fields. And they were winnowing, they were taking out the wheat, and the bullocks and the train, goods train, and the great monument. So when I was doing my third book on Delhi, I went to the situation again after 40 years. And I just couldn't get this view anymore. So for me, the purpose of photography is the fact that what you are photographing today, which captures the spirit and imagination and magic of any given place, which has a wholesome experience of life and nature, is going to be a visual history of tomorrow. So when I was editing my book, I said, my God, amazing, what photography can capture. This is also my early work. And with a very simple normal camera, I had taken this picture. But these early pictures, they became important after a few years of understanding what an image should be, which I'll explain to you now. You see this photograph, I was standing in Chowdi Bazaar, Old Delhi, looking at the traffic, crisscrossing, all kinds of traffic going, and the patches of these wheels and lines on the road, and everything crisscrossing each other. I stood there in wonder, took some pictures, came back. And then my elder brother, was a great photographer, he looked at it, he says, Raghu, this is an amazing picture. I said, really? I took it as a person who was wondering and responding to situations. So when you wonder with feeling and with emotions, and what you capture then has much more to it than your knowledge in your head. Usually I'll say it's a scientist, a doctor, and politician, and banias use their brains. A photographer, a writer, a painter doesn't use his brain to begin with. It is when your eyes are connected to your heart, then it's a moment of feeling and going through an experience which is very special to you in person. Thinking comes later. Once you've gone through that experience, which is so powerful and so meaningful, then you begin to say, oh my God, this is what it means. Even the greatest philosophies are born later on. First, it's a moment of experience and realization that comes your way as a gift. You capture it, and then thinking is a second process when you think and then you analyze, oh my God, this is what you've got. Now, these are two old men in Old Delhi. So you can see one well-booted, suited, and the other poor guy, but the stick is common to them. And the two patches, black patches on the wall. So, these are moments of revelations for me. Photography is used for lots of purposes. Here, this is Girdhari Lal being photographed for identification. But the backdrop, this is the old big camera with a backdrop, which used to be the style in those years, 60s and 70s. This is husband and wife pushing a cart in New Delhi. And now structurally, if you look at it compositionally, I took maybe more than 20 photographs following them, this couple. When I reached this point where the building and the boxes, they create a kind of relationship and continuity. And this lady pushing the cart. Actually, first time when I met Satyajit Ray in late 70s, first thing he told me was, Raghu, this photograph is etched in my mind, which is so powerful. So I was so pleased because Satyajit Ray was one of the greatest filmmakers of the world. This is Calcutta. I saw these idols on the roadside and Ganga at the back, and the half cow, you could see only just the head. So I stood there and I said, it's not good enough. What do? I waited, and then I saw this lady coming. So I took some more pictures when she was coming. Then suddenly she saw me taking pictures. So she stopped, look back. So when she looks back at this situation, she connects the whole space for me, and it becomes an intuitive, powerful image. This is my childhood memories. We used to stay on the, my father was in irrigation department, so we stay next to the rivers and canals where there'll be a lot of mango groves and things like that. So these low-hanging fruits and children and the buffaloes. Now, in creativity, either you capture a mystery or you reveal a mystery. Now here, this is on Marine Drive, on the edge of Marine Drive. First of all, I must say I love dark clouds because they enrich my sky. And suddenly these men on the edge of Marine Drive, they were looking this way, that way, as if they've lost something here. So this kind of strange feeling or a mystery was something very special with those dark clouds right above. Here, I was sitting in a car waiting for a friend, and suddenly it started raining. If you see it in big screen, you can count the raindrops. The intensity of rain was so powerful. So I took 2-3 quick shots from my window. This is a day before Babri Masjid was demolished in Ayodhya. It was early morning, It was tranquil, it was beautiful atmosphere, sadhus and men and animals everywhere. And, it was creating such a wonderful religious, spiritual, not religious, I'll say spiritual atmosphere in the whole space. Somebody offering something to this man, and the way the monkey's looking, the elephant right there on the right-hand side, the dog down below. I mean, so much happening. You see, also, a photograph, when you're young, you see a thing, which is interesting, and you take a picture. A lovely child, or somebody jumping, or somebody doing something. But with the experience, you begin to relate to a lot more than just a thing happening. So if you look at this space and the experience, so much is happening everywhere, which is so enriching, and the architecture of Ayodhya city. This is at the Imambara, Lucknow. It's a very beautiful monument even today, but almost falling apart. So I saw these guys sitting on top. So I thought, why can't I go up there and take some pictures? So to get the perspective from there to the Imambara and everything, that experience became very strong. This is at Churchgate railway station, Mumbai. When you go there, the first expression is that of a, early morning when the local trains come. First expression is you stand there at the platform, thousands of people get down from the trains. And within less than a minute, they all disappear like a human deluge, because everybody is rushing to their respective jobs and places of work. So I stood there and I saw this repeating itself every few minutes when the local trains will come. So I wanted to capture that feeling of human deluge. So I put my camera, there was a big box of electric connections or something, right at the platform. So I put my camera on that box and gave a long exposure so that people who are walking in movement, they blend, they flow like a deluge. And some people who were sitting on the benches reading morning newspaper, they are sharp. The atmosphere around it is absolutely sharp and clear. So it's the first instinctive response to a situation, which is very important, that what you see, what you feel, and that feel should come across through your work. Sometimes life gives you time to organize your image. Sometimes it's so quick. If you're not quick enough, you're not ready enough, the moment has come and disappeared. So this was one of those situations where I could organize my exposure, my camera, and took this picture. This is in Calcutta, Kumartuli, where they make statues before Durga Puja. So all kinds of things, I mean, it is like sculptures being done by anybody and everybody, and they have their own interpretations of Durga Ma and Kali Ma, and so much activity happening there. This is also Calcutta Dockyard. Again, you can see dark clouds in my space, which is very precious to me. We were crossing the bridge, the dark clouds were coming, and our car was moving. There was no way to stop there because it was a very small, old, tight bridge. So we had to keep moving. So from the moving car, I took 3-4 quick pictures, but luckily the tension, the way this man is moving with the bamboo energizes the whole experience of that space. So also I'd like to share with you something very important. Art is not about beauty. Because if you photograph beautiful Himalayas, they are beautiful. If you photograph a lovely child, it's a lovely child. It doesn't mean that it becomes work of art. You see, creativity is something where you capture something unique and rare as a human expression or as a power of nature's expression that you capture. Then it becomes an art. But making beautiful and pretty pictures is no art, because if you look at Instagram today, it's bombarded with such colorful pictures and close-ups of old men and lovely girls and setting sun and rising sun and colorful people. I mean, this is all cliches in photography. They also say a good picture is worth 1,000 words. But I'll say 1,000 words can be a lot of noise. How about some silence? The greatest work of art is the one which restores silence in me. A great movie for me is the one which doesn't disturb me or shakes me up, something which restores me to myself and gives me silence, inner peace. So the purpose of art can be varied, but certainly not art doesn't mean pretty things and beauty. This is at the Ganga in Calcutta. Early morning, people are doing their exercises, some people in the river and the boats and everything, early morning atmosphere. This is in Varanasi at the burning ghat where Hindus burn their dead. But look at the cows and the animals and human beings, the way they are sitting together as if they are sharing the same sorrow and experience. This is, I was photographing Old Delhi from a rooftop. A friend had taken me there, the highest point in Jama Masjid area. And in the evening, you see hundreds of people on the rooftop. Some are just sitting and chatting. Some others are flying kites, some are playing, some are doing all kinds of things on the rooftop. So I was taking all those pictures, and I must have spent 3 hours there. And I didn't feel the magic of the place. And I said, oh my God, never mind. So, the lights came on and I decided to leave. As I was stepping down from the staircase, suddenly across the building, I saw this woman in prayer and the dark clouds and the Jama Masjid and the old city. So this was one of those nature's gift to me, which had won me many awards. So these are the moments. You see, I believe that when you invest your mind, body, and spirit in a given situation, and you wait and you work, then nature and life begins to perform for you. Then nature can give you a rare gift of rare moments. Now, this is some of my black and white work that I have shown you. And since I am speaking to the doctors and nurses, Bhopal gas tragedy, we all know, in 84 December, when the lethal gas leaked from Union Carbide, 3,000 people were dead overnight. You can see Union Carbide at the back. These are the people who were living across Union Carbide. First thing the gas attacked was the eyes. And then when you inhaled, it went into your lungs. It slowly, if you inhaled enough gas, you get killed. If you inhale less gas, you will die a slow death. Here is a man carrying his dead wife because so many people had died in one night that there was no cremation, there was nobody to help you, everyone to oneself. I mean, so many children living across the road, from Union Carbide who got killed. This is later that I went to photograph and do the research, how many people had died. These are the skulls of the people, because one of the doctors at the Hamidia Hospital in Bhopal, who was doing research on the kind of deaths and the effects of the gas. This picture of an unknown child being buried became the symbol of Bhopal gas tragedy. And so many NGOs and organizations have used this picture to collect funds, to remind government about the tragedy. Then after 20 years, I was invited by the Greenpeace International that we wanted to take a look at the patients of Bhopal gas tragedy. I said, why do you want to pull out the skeleton now after 20 years? They said, those who inhaled enough gas, they were quick to die, but those who inhaled less gas, they were dying a slow death. Also, this gas was heavier than the air. So it was not flying, it was crawling. So anybody who came in the way got killed or was dying a slow death. So look at the eyes of this old man and his wife. This is the daughters of this old man who was dying a slow death. This is another old man in the hospital. This is also, you can see almost he's going. Now, that night, in the middle of the night when the gas was leaking and people were fleeing, those women who were pregnant and they were running, they got aborted on the way. So Dr. Satpathy had collected these fetuses. This is Dr. Satpathy. He did a lot of work and research on the subject. So these are some of my work on Bhopal gas tragedy. And I have been through wars, I have been through these kind of tragedies. And also, above all, for me, as a concerned photographer, I have done book on Indira Gandhi, 3 books on Indira Gandhi, because she was the longest serving prime minister of this country, almost, I think, 18 to 20 years. And she changed almost the political scenario of the place. And today's politics is somewhere related to her legacy but more ruthless and more different than ever before. So, and now I photograph the Himalayas, I photograph the clouds, I photograph anything that touches me, that makes me feel something special about life or nature. So I am not much more into news photography anymore, but into creative aspect with some of the pictures that I showed you. So this is what it is for the time being. And we can have some questions if you like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rai. I think I must say that your lens has captured stories and not just the pictures. Because every picture has spoken volumes to me, and I'm sure all the audience would agree with me.
By the way, I have done more than 50 books, not 18 books now. Photographic books on different subjects.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I must say that your lens has captured stories, not just the pictures, and every picture has spoken volumes. And I'm sure the audience would agree with me.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, sir, we have few questions.
Ji.
So the first one is, how was your experience capturing Mother Teresa?
As I said, mother was the most powerful experience in my life because, uh, as I shared earlier, that each time I had to meet mother, I take my bath, I'll almost sit folded hands and hold myself together, mind, body, and spirit, so that I am focused. And when mother looks into me, she finds me completely dedicated and there. Because also there was another experience. You know, when I was planning to do second book on mother, I went to her. I said, Mother, I want to do a nice, proper book on you. She said, no, there is no need. You've done one book, and so many people have done so many books. There is no need to do another book on you. So she says, I said, Mother, I'm not wanting to do another book because you are an easy subject, because I feel unfulfilled as far as you and your dedication and your seva is concerned. I said, I have been producing books on other subjects, but each time I feel like coming back to you because it's not complete with me. So mother says, all right, I'll do my prayers and I'll let you know. And I don't know what happened to me. I immediately said, I said, Mother, I have done my prayers. The answer was yes. Mother looked into me again and she said, all right, we'll do it. Can you imagine? She had same respect for your prayers that she had for her own prayers. And not that I had done my prayers in literal sense, but I had almost thought of it, and meditated on it. And I thought I must do it, which is like a prayer. Because also there was another moment when initially, when first time when I went and I went click, 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 taking pictures because so much was happening in front of me. Mother didn't like the idea, somebody clicking away. So she says, how many more pictures will you take? I said, Mother, how many times will you go on praying? So she says, oh, I see. So for me, this is my dharma. These are my prayers to discover the world. This is what mother has taught me.
Lovely. So, sir, I would like to know what made you capture Mother Teresa? What was the thought behind?
Yeah, you see, basically the intensity, the dedication, the purity of Mother Teresa as her life, the kind of life she lived. She never flickered as a human being. No matter who comes and meets her, a minister or an ordinary person, she will deal with you with same compassion and focus. And the fact that her dedication and compassion was so amazing that you could see in her hands, in her eyes, the way she dedicated her life to the poorest of the poor. And that was something so unique for me.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, there is another question. So, what was the most moving moment for you while you captured Bhopal gas tragedy?
Especially that child, being buried, that innocent little face and eyes open. Innocent face and open eyes as if, my God, we were being questioned through these wide opened eyes. What have we done? So that was the biggest moment. And even photographing these, actually, the children, and the old ladies, they move with the most, no matter who you are.
Yeah. So, sir, there is a question. Mr. Bajpai wants to know. I'm sure you look into the work of today's photojournalists. Whose
The,
work fascinates you the most?
photojournalists, actually, what is happening is that, journalism has got diluted so much today because it's a world of infotainment. You are not here to entertain people. Serious work doesn't entertain people. Serious work takes you into the depths of situations to reveal themselves, why this, why that. And bulk of the, this digital technology has also made it so easy and colorful that everything looks colorful. But, there are few people, few individuals, unfortunately, newspapers and magazines also, they rather print more ads and then give big space to photographs. Like Sudarak Ulve in Bombay Times of India, he's been good, and there are a few other photographers here and there. But by and large, the space is being squeezed, and they give it to the written words or to the ads. Our time, even in India today, when I was a picture editor, I used to say, for me, written words are like brickwork. And an expressive, meaningful photograph is like a window to the world, that the way it happened then. So this was, and my editors, they listened to me and they gave me big space. But today it's become very different. It's not the same newspaper, magazines, and towing the line of the government, not being honest about political analysis, favoring some or being against somebody. This is no journalism really in that sense. Bulk of everybody is following the same line. Look at the TV channels. Oh, they are, anchors are aggressive, ruthless, insulting. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. So, sir, we have a person, Ashutosh Sharma. So he says, "Good evening, Raghu sir. I am Ashutosh Sharma. Really glad to see you. I am a big fan. Do
Thank
you
you.
have any photo you don't like much, but still got to learn from it?"
Dikhiye, good question,
Yeah.
indirect question.
Yes, sir.
See, there are situations when you walk in and something unique is happening and you take few quick pictures and you come away. But on most other occasions, there are moments you are exploring, you are trying to understand, you want to wait for the revelation to happen, you are going on clicking pictures. So there are so many photographs that we take, and I'll say sometimes maybe it's 3, 4 pictures out of 100 that eventually the rich moment and moment of revelation comes that fulfills me. And meanwhile, I am still at it. So it's a process, of learning and exploring the world around you. So it goes on and endlessly.
Okay, sir. So, sir, there is a question. What made you a photographer from a civil engineer?
You see, I, my father was head of administration in irrigation department, but the boss was chief engineer. So my father thought that my son should do engineering and become a big boss in 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 his concept of being somebody important and big. So he wanted me to do engineering, which I did. I worked with the government for a year and a half or 2 years, and I didn't like it. I got bored. So I came to stay with my elder brother Paul, who was a very good photographer living in Delhi. So I came and stayed with him for a couple of years. I was not doing anything. Then one of his friends, very nice person, was going to go to his village to take photographs. And because I liked this guy, I thought, I'll also go with him. I asked my brother, can I go with him for 2, 3 days and have a holiday? He said, yeah, go. So I said, by the way, I said, give me a camera. I'll also take some pictures. So I went with him for 2, 3 days to his village. We were having fun. He was taking pictures. And in one situation on late evening, he was photographing children on the outskirts of the village. And I saw a baby donkey on the one side looking very cute. So I went to take that picture, and I had a small camera, ordinary camera. So the baby donkey got scared and started running. And everybody laughed, those children. So I ran after that baby donkey till the donkey came to a standstill. And then I took a picture. And then, I took some other pictures also. When I came back and the film was processed, my brother saw that picture. He says, Raghu, this is a very good picture. I said, really? I didn't know. I had no plan to become a photographer. So, that was in late 60s, mid 60s. And that was the time when the Times newspaper, the London Times, the biggest newspaper of that time, used to print half page of a photograph every weekend, which had something funny, something humorous, something ironic, something strange about it. A photograph, and it was published in the Times, half page, with my name on it. And when we received the paper, all his friends and him, they said, wow, this is a big deal. So I said, really big deal. So I thought, why not? So then I told my brother, give me a camera, I'll also take pictures, because I was not doing anything, no engineering, nothing interested me. But I must say, कि वो अलादीन का चिराग होता है ना, the lamp of Aladdin that you
Yes.
have in your hands and you can get anything. For me, camera has been Aladdin ka chirag, that ever since I have had this camera in my hand, my relationship with the world, with the nature, with life has changed. And I learned so much through my camera. And camera photography is my dharma.
Yeah. So, sir, the next one is from Shravan Kumar. He wants to know, what is the reason for monochromatic in your storytelling?
Sorry?
A reason for monochromatic in your storytelling?
No, see, actually, because I'm showing you my early works and not the whole body of work. I have done more than 50 photographic books, many in color also. But in 60s and 70s and 80s, most newspapers and magazines in India, they published black and white photographs. There was no color printing at that time in the newspapers and magazines. So this is, I'm showing you maybe one-fourth, one-fifth of my early years of my work, which is in black and white. Maybe next time when we meet, and also, you see the color photography, whatever you're photographing a reality. In that reality, there are all kinds of colors. And like Mother Teresa's situation, or for instance, this Bhopal gas tragedy, imagine if this man is wearing, red color shirt and deep blue jeans, it will take away all the attention. But the moment you convert the, black color into black and white, it silences the noise of the color, and your content becomes more focused and meaningful. So these are the early works. And in any case, even when I do color photography, I make sure the content is as powerful as the color quality. But certainly serious subject matter, I would like to say, serious subject matter comes across better in black and white. The tonal values, the contrast, the depth of field.
Yes, sir. So, sir, you have seen the selfishness, greed, cruelty, and you have seen kindness, sacrifice, and pure love. What gives you hope that goodness will prevail?
I think actually, if you look at the world and the history of the world, we haven't learned from the past mistakes. The world has become more cruel, more ruthless, more controlling. But there are islands of peace and tranquility, and there are wonderful people still in this world who make a difference to the lives of all of us, and we share a lot. So the hope is always there, because eventually, at the end of the day, mankind, this word, mankind, there is some kindness which will keep the world going and together. But if we say, uh, in today's world, especially religion has caused the biggest damage to this world, no matter which it is. And somebody said, that uh, the priestly class and the political class and the ruling class has played the biggest this thing damage to the society, to mankind, by creating religions of all kinds. Because all these gods came as saintly people, and they've come and gone. No Allah is coming back. No Christ is coming back, has never come back. No Ram and no Buddha is coming back. They've come and gone. It's between us, you and me, to make a difference to the world. But what is very special in this world is the supreme power, the supreme energy which is available to all of us. And that, when that works through us, we still remain sensitive, responsible, and caring human beings. But religion has done the biggest damage in everywhere. And in any case, the poorest of the poor take refuge in religion, thinking is अब जो है भगवान जो है हमारे लिए करेंगे. People walk bare feet this way, that way, go to Himalayas, thinking that some fruits will come my way. Nothing has no meaning. All these things are stories.
Indeed, sir. Sir, you have been with many powerful leaders and spiritual gurus. Whom did you find most fascinating?
Guru for me, indirectly. And I'm very close to His Holiness Dalai Lama. I have done a big book on him also, and a book on Sadhguru. I have done a book on our own Guruji, who was a miracle man and most amazing person. So, I can't say this one or that one, but certainly they have contributed a lot to my understanding of the world. And I am a product of so many of these gurus and also their blessings. that I get their blessings. They help me a lot. But it's not a religion. It's the spiritual part of our lives that blesses you when you are a dedicated human being. As I said, when you invest your mind, body, and soul in exploring the world, the nature blesses you with great moments because that's the supreme energy available to all of us. So these gurus have also contributed a lot to my life and my understanding of the world. And I have got great reverence for them. But I will not sit and pray in the name of this God or that God, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll take the last question for the day.
Yeah.
So this comes as you have seen India go through so much turbulence, crisis, and recovery. What is in the DNA of our country that it makes it resilient?
That's a good question. देखो, पढ़े लिखे, अनपढ़, गरीब, ordinary, जो भी हैं हम लोग, rich, poor, ordinary, uneducated, whatever. हिंदुस्तानी का इंस्टिंक्ट जो है बहुत भारी है. इंस्टिंक्टिवली देखिए इलेक्शंस आते हैं और पॉलिटिकल पंडित्स प्रेडिक्शंस देना चाहते हैं और देते हैं. अब तो खैर सर्वेज होने लग गई हैं और उनमें से कुछ रिजल्ट ठीक भी आते हैं. लेकिन मैंने अर्लियर years I have seen when there were no these kind of surveys, of people, क्या बोलते हैं उनको, whatever that is called. So people of this country are so instinctive. They respond to situations, to politicians, to political and social situations instinctively. And that's what keeps this country going. They still have their inner spirit and instinct alive in most of us. And that's what India is all about. कि जब इतने धर्म हैं यहाँ प्रैक्टिस करके, इतने भगवान हैं, कितने हैं, क्या हिसाब है, तो सारे जब कहीं कहीं उसके नाम पे भी उनका इंस्टिंक्ट जिंदा रहता है. ये बात दूसरी है कि वो तुम्हें आके, इफ यू सिट इन द नेम ऑफ बुद्धा एंड कीप प्रेइंग एंड डोंट थिंक बुद्धा इज गोइंग टू लैंड एंड कम एंड ब्लेस यू. द ओनली थिंग is that in the name of so and so, this God or that God, that gives you a symbol to concentrate. But they are not coming down to bless you. But when you concentrate or meditate or connect, that gives you, that puts your mind, body, and spirit in one alignment, and then you become a stronger human being. And that's what keeps us strong and instinctive.
Yes, indeed. So it was a lovely session. For the concluding remarks, what is your message to the healthcare professionals who are involved in the COVID war?
Be a little like Mother Teresa. Also, this personal touch anywhere with anybody. आप देख लीजिए. Even when you go to some government office, to a clerk, to get your work done, you go with a personal touch, it gets done. And more so for the doctors and nurses, if you have that touch of sensitivity and that warm smile in your eyes. I remember, when I went, I had bypass at Escorts, and Naresh Rehan was the doctor. So every morning he'll come and he'll touch my cheeks and give me a little bit of love, make me feel so wonderful. And with that warm smile, he'll leave warm words and positive words. So, and as mother said, कि मैं अपने Christ की देखभाल कर रही हूँ. Can you imagine? That can't be more intense and meaningful understanding than what mother shared with us. कि ये मेरे Christ हैं, जिनकी मैं देखभाल करती हूँ. अगर डॉक्टर्स के लिए उनके पेशेंट्स, उनके भगवान बन जाए, तो दुनिया कितनी खूबसूरत हो जाए. isn't it?
Yes, indeed, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for a lovely session. And with this, on
Thank you,
behalf of
everybody,
Dr.
for
Reddy,
listening to me so patiently.
yeah, thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, all the best. Yes, and do the
Thank
best
you.
in whatever
Thank you, sir.
profession we are in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, on behalf of Dr. Reddy's, I thank our speaker, Mr. Raghu Rai, and all the participants for taking time out. No one escapes pain, fear, and suffering. Yet from these come perseverance, courage, and strength, if we have the virtue of resilience. This is your host, Astha Jessica, wishing you a day filled of positivity, strength, and good health. Because good health can't wait. Jai Hind.